In April 2019, a team of archaeologists from Queen's University, Belfast, came to the townland of Dorsey in South Armagh to excavate a site there. There have been a number of archaeological investigations in this area dating from the 17th to the 19th centuries, and since then in the 1930s, the 1970s and 2002. So what has drawn teams of archaeologists to this remote and unassuming location over the centuries? At this site, situated off Bonds Road in Dorsey, evidence of a distinctive Iron Age monument is plainly visible today. This monument is known as the Dorsey Ramparts. So what are the Dorsey Ramparts?
Well, the Dorsey Ramparts are a great big enclosure, really. By enclosure, I mean a series of earthworks that hem in an area. It's an area of hundreds of acres. It measures about 800 metres northeast to southwest and about 400 metres in the other direction. So we're carrying out this excavation along with the Ring of Gullion Landscape Partnership Scheme to try and answer these research questions, and also to inform the local community about the Dorsey, about the fantastically rich landscape that they live in, and its sort of historical and archaeological heritage.
Cormac and his team, in conjunction with the Landscape Partnership, invited the public to join them in excavating the site. Participants learned about the various excavation techniques before giving it a go for themselves. Much has been discovered about the ramparts from the various excavations. It has been discovered that the perimeter was lined with high oak palisades, which also flanked the road and extended within the monument. Advances in technologies in recent times have greatly assisted in these investigations. However, looking at the evidence, one can only speculate about the true function of the ramparts.
Well, there are a number of theories produced over the years. One theory considered that it was some sort of a fort or strong point, but that's probably not that likely to be correct. For a start, it's not particularly well situated militarily. It's overlooked from a number of different directions. Another idea that's been put forward is that some sort of ritual enclosure, that it deliberately encloses different types of countryside to sort of symbolise the wider landscape.
To help us in this investigation into the purpose of the ramparts, it is important to look at the known historical background to the Dorsey. The earliest known reference to Dorsey is in the Annals of Lough Key, written by monks who were documenting the major events of the time. It is dated 1224 and refers to the Dorsey as the doors to Owen. Owen, or Owen, now known as Navan Fort outside Armagh city, was the ancient seat of the kings of Ulster. Dendrochronological dating of the oak palisades excavated at the Dorsey and at Navan Fort suggests that these structures were contemporary, placing them both in the 1st century BC, in the period of Cuchulainn and King Conor MacNessa.
The name Dorsey actually means in Irish gates or doors, and it's often been interpreted as, or it's often been thought by folklorists and historians to be the gates of Ulster, and it's also been referenced a few times historically as the gates of Owen, the gates of Navan Fort, the gates of Navan. So it does seem to have some sort of a function as a gateway or a doorway along this important route leading north into Ulster.
So, the Dorsey may have been a gateway into the Kingdom of Ulster. The route, therefore, may have been an important one.
Most theories surround the fact that there seems to be an ancient road. It's now called the Bonds Road, but in the past we think it was called the Bealach Mór na Fire, the great road that runs through the Fuse. And this ancient road is at least 2,000 years old, probably older, and it runs through the Dorsey. And it runs through the Dorsey at one of the points of the Dorsey where the ramparts are tallest. And at this point there's an original gap left in the Dorsey, and through that original gap runs this road. Coming up through Down and Antrim.
During a site walk, Cormac explained to those in attendance that the road running through the Dorsey may have branched off one of the major ancient roads of Ireland, the Slieve Maluchra, which connected Navan Fort with the Royal Centre of Ireland at Tara.
And it seems like this road is a branch off that Great North Road. That Great North Road was called the Slieve Maluchra, and the road that runs, that's probably this road that runs through the Dorsey, is probably a road that was called the Bealach Mór na Fire. It's modern name obviously is the Bonds Road, but people in the 18th century described it as the Old Coach Road.
The discovery of the Sliabh Muluchra and the other 4 ancient roads of Ireland is documented in the Metrical Dinshensis. The Metrical Dinshensis, which comprises manuscripts recounting the origins of place names and the associated lore, dates from the 11th century. However, they have been taken from a much earlier oral tradition. This archaic poem, or Rosk, originally in Old Irish, recounts the materialisation of the ancient road at Samhain, or Halloween night, and the emergence of some otherworldly beings, including phantoms and ancient armies along its route.
Hosts of plunderers pursue him at Samhain, the senseless noble son of Agabal. Phantoms, ancient armies pursued their way. Dear Dallo, fierce dragon, broke the barrow of the Tua's high road.
Having spoken to locals, and after some further reading, I realised that there has long been an association between the Dorsey and the otherworldly. Mythology links the semi-divine hero Cuchulainn with the Dorsey, as well as the Callubera of Sliabh Gullion. Furthermore, stories of the Sidhe, or the fairy folk, recounted by locals, have been recorded and published by historians such as Canon Henry William Lett in 1898 and T.G.F. Patterson in 1939, and reflect both the fear and the regard held for these beings among the people of the area. These stories of otherworldly encounters, fairy music and funerals, and fairy bushes have been passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, the Dorsey is synonymous with that kind of story, with either stories of the fairies or stories of, I don't like using the word ghost stories, but certainly of otherworldly kind of happenings. Growing up, we would have had Sammy Burns in our house quite a bit, and Sammy was a great storyteller, but I had a huge interest in the heritage of the area. And I remember one story, he talked about being on the road late one night. He was coming home from somewhere, and it was in and around part of the ramparts over there near Dramill Bridge, and he'd seen this lady walking. So he drove on a bit, and then he turned around and he came back and she wasn't there. Talking to Daddy about that years later, he said there's numerous people would have said they had sighted a woman on the road walking and looked to be in distress. But then when they turned back, there was nobody there.
During previous excavations, it had been discovered that the oak palisades that once fortified the Dorsey had been methodically and periodically burned down and rebuilt. Evidence of similar repeated burning and rebuilding has been found by archaeologists at Navan Fort, Tara, and other Iron Age sites, and is thought to have served a ritual function, perhaps as an offering to the gods or as a ritual purification.
We ritualise all sorts of journeys. We ritualise journeys through life. We ritualise journeys through places. So the idea that something can be a practical monument and a functional monument and still have a ritualistic or possibly even religious aspect to it shouldn't be dismissed.
Considering the strength of belief in the otherworldly, perhaps the Dorsey can be thought of as both a frontier outpost for the Kingdom of Ulster, as well as a liminal crossing point to the otherworld. For now, we can only speculate.